At this time, it's my honor to announce the most important person in this room, Connecticut Teacher of the Year, Meghan Geary.
In 2019, Meghan Geary was selected as the Connecticut State Teacher of the Year. It is tradition to honor the State Teachers of the Year at the White House, and she was originally scheduled to go in April of 2020. Due to COVID-19, this trip got postponed. In October of 2021, it was finally arranged for the teachers to be recognized in Washington.
We weren't even sure that it was going to happen until about 2 weeks prior to the date that we were supposed to go. We got the official word that it was on. And then we had to complete a variety of different pieces of paperwork. We had to undergo like an FBI background check. And then when we arrived at the White House, we simply had to then show our photo ID in order to get through the gates. And we were on like an approved list. And then once we were inside the gate, we had to go through a security check where you have to, you're only allowed to bring in a very small little like a wristlet bag. And so then that has to go through security. Again, a lot of people worked very hard to make it happen. So we're immensely grateful to all of those folks for all the things that they did.
At the White House event, the teachers had the privilege of meeting Dr. Jill Biden, the First Lady, and were given a speech by the President himself.
So I was able to speak one-on-one with the First Lady. I shook her hand. I thanked her for welcoming us, told her it was such an honor to meet her. And it really is because Dr. Biden is a teacher. It was particularly special to be recognized by her. And then I was out. And then I was in and on the South Lawn where all of the chairs were set up and all of the press corps was there. And there's the podium and waiting for the dignitaries to come out. So it was pretty special. I did not speak directly with the president, but we were very grateful that we heard directly from the Secretary of Education, Dr. Miguel Cardona, who is from Connecticut, from Meriden, Connecticut. We heard directly from the First Lady, and then she introduced the president. So he was able to join us. He spoke to us very personably, and so that was a real thrill, particularly for the National Teachers of the Year who were sharing the stage with him. And then, he was able to personally hand them their award. And I'm so happy that they had that moment because they've worked so hard on behalf of teachers literally across America and our territories during a pandemic to lead. And so for them to be able to have that moment was really, really special.
One of the primary reasons that the State Teachers of the Year are invited to D.C. is to have an opportunity to speak with legislators and policymakers. One day of the trip is devoted to this, called the Capitol Visit.
We did not visit Capitol Hill. There are still a lot of restrictions in place because of the January 6th event and because of COVID. So Rachelle Brown, who is the 2021 Connecticut Teacher of the Year, she's a kindergarten teacher from Windsor. She and I worked together to meet with 4 of our legislators via Zoom. They were able to share with us the work that they're doing, and we were able to share with them what that work kind of ends up looking like on the ground. And so Rachelle and I, our focus was really to speak with these policymakers and talk to them about what our concerns are. And for me, concerns around standardized testing and whether or not that is equitable, talking about funding, talking about making sure that we have enough support staff in order to live up to the promises that we make when we talk about taking care of kids and their social and emotional well-being. It also opened some doors for us to continue those talks moving into the future. And so we were very grateful for the time of the senators and the Congress people, and we're hoping to kind of maintain that relationship moving forward. We had 2 days at 2 different Smithsonian museums, the National Museum of American History, and then on Friday, the National African American Museum of History and Culture. And Mr. Geary and I spent 4.5 hours there on Friday, and it was just barely scratching the surface, but it was the most profound museum experience I've ever had. And every time we're in these museums and going through these exhibits and working with people there, it's all about being able to bring things back to the classroom, think about ways to incorporate and utilize resources. So those were our museum days. We also did some other teacher leadership training with the organization that runs the whole event. It's called CCSSO. It's the Council of Chief State School Officers. It's a mouthful, but they run some teacher leadership training, so we underwent that. And then we had a gala. So I was able to wear a gown, and Mr. Geary was a black tie affair, and it was a really lovely dinner. A lot of talking, not gonna lie. I thought there was gonna be more dancing. one of the heads of the education union, the NEA, said when we celebrate teachers, we honor our profession. And I don't think that we celebrate teachers genuinely. All teachers, award winners or not, right? All teachers deserve to be celebrated and recognized. And so it was very, very special. They ask us at the beginning of the week, like, who are you carrying with you? You know, who are you taking with you on this journey? And I literally had a little Harry the Hawk with me. But figuratively, I was carrying with me my students and my amazing colleagues. It was awesome. And then we went karaokeing in our ball gowns because we hadn't danced enough. And so we went out and did some karaoke and hung out and sort of said our goodbyes. It is a privilege and an honor to be able to represent the teaching profession. It is the thing I love the most. And so a real privilege and an honor to be able to represent that in Washington, D.C.